This is News 10 Sports with Tim Stout.
Good evening. New Michigan State football coach Pat Fitzgerald signed more high school recruits today and announced that his first spring football session would begin March 17th and end with some kind of a fan fest gathering still to be determined. The top prospect signed today would be Detroit Catholic Central wide receiver Samson Gash. He committed to State earlier, then opened his recruiting again after Jonathan Smith was fired. Fitzgerald and assistant Courtney Hawkins persuaded Gash to sign with the Spartans, and he is expected to play right away.
He's the fastest athlete in this state, but also one of the fastest in the country. So, to add that type of dynamic athleticism is exactly what we're setting out to do with every position. Samson hopefully will be a huge catalyst not only for this year, but then also to make a statement to the great players here in the state of Michigan to stay home. And the great players in the state go to state.